Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the final word, finally, for Everton 2, Arsenal 1. We are taking this opportunity to be Christmassy while we can, Baz. Be happy while we can. This might be the most enjoyment we'll have over Christmas. Let's hope that that's not true. Let's hope we have a very, very, very happy Christmas. But we're enjoying it now in our lovely Christmas jumpers. Thank you to Everton Football Club for supplying these marvellous jumpers. I'm not sure Baz is convinced.
Boss.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, we've got a win to talk about, and a good win. Not just a scrappy
Glorious good win.
A good win. A good win. First one for a while.
Was it October? Late October, West Ham?
Yeah, but this feels even different though. This is this is like a proper
win.
Yeah, but this is a proper
win.
This is a proper win.
Yeah.
This is a Goodison under the lights. Winner in the last couple of minutes. Winner, that's a win now. We used to have a few of them under other regimes, and yeah, fantastic.
It was made all the more sweeter. It makes no sense at all. That's too many biscuits and coffee from you. Made all the sweeter by the fact that I personally didn't see us getting a win.
I don't think anyone did.
No.
Well, maybe a few. I know there was a few.
Yeah. I felt as though they come into the game in fantastic form, excellent side. We've seen on the night the movement's incredible when they're in that flowing football that they play. But I was hoping we'd be able to just hang in there and maybe nick a draw and try and just get a little bit more momentum going with that. The way things have gone at Goodison being unbeaten, but it turned out even better than that.
Yeah, I suppose in a way that's what we used to thrive off, wasn't it? We used to thrive off being the underdog and going into these games, and you not necessarily look forward to that because you don't want to be in that position. But we used to enjoy that, didn't we? And now it's almost like there's really no feeling that we were going to win. But maybe that was the difference. Maybe it was the fact that as players, as fans, there was a little bit of pressure off us. And as the game went on, even when we went behind, maybe the pressure sounds silly, but maybe the pressure went off a little bit more. Whereas Koeman said himself, the pressure's actually been winning games, being in the lead. I've heard other people saying that. I think Thierry Henry said it on Sky. The fear of winning. I know that sounds stupid, but it's when you take the lead and then you feel like you've got something to hold on to, but you stop doing the things that you've been doing. Like, Saturday against Watford, we took the lead and then we stopped.
Yeah.
And in the last few games,
to be fair, we didn't even start against Watford.
No, but we did. We were winning,
yeah.
and we've won the most points in the Premier League from in losing positions. That's just mental. It's like, how did that happen? But maybe that's it. Maybe when we're getting beat, maybe certainly later on in games, the pressure just goes away.
Yeah, there is that. I mean, we've all done it. You're dead relaxed at 0-0. You take the lead and all of a sudden you're nervous and you're thinking, and then the anxiety goes around the stadium and kicking the ball and you're thinking, I was chilled at 0-0.
Or though, what happens is, you're dead nervous at 0-0 and then the opposition take the lead. And then you calm down.
No, sorry, I was responding to the fear of winning thing. That fear of winning. That's what I was trying to say. Is that at 0-0 you're a bit like, if they score the way it is, but you score and all of a sudden you've got something to hold on to. The anxiety creeps in. I said before the game, I said to a couple of my mates before the game, this is the kind of game David Moyes would win.
Yeah.
When Moyes was at Everton, it was the game where they're flying, we're in not very good form. And you knew that he'd have the players up for that fight. And what I was saying, and I said it to Robbie when we done the preview thing, I'm not sure whether this team under Koeman has got that ability to dig in and fight, because I hadn't seen it. And the first 20 minutes, I was thinking they definitely haven't got this quality to be able to dig in and fight. But after that, they proved that they can, because I don't know whether you want us to talk about the lineup and stuff like that. The changes that we made. What did you make of Aaron Lennon coming in? I know we'd done okay in a little cameo against Watford. Yeah. But in the previous two starts,
to be honest, he was rubbish against Southampton, and I thought that was it. But then I looked. it's one of those, isn't it? To be fair to the game plan, it worked.
Yeah, it did.
In the game plan.
It did.
And it worked because...
Very Pienaar-esque, I thought. Not as good, obviously.
But Lennon, we've said this loads of times, we've said it's weird we haven't seen more of Lennon, because actually fits into what the manager wants.
Yeah.
And I think what happened, certainly after they scored, was he didn't get so isolated doing that job. He had other people helping him, and suddenly it was more than some of its parts, obviously, but he fitted into that. Now, in isolation at the beginning of the game, you go, oh God. But then as the game went on, and as that, and he didn't stand out, he just did his job really well. Yeah. And it was the same with on the other side, and it was the same with the three midfield, and it just meant we had a little bit more of the ball and more aggression.
Valencia.
Yeah, well, we'll come on to that.
He was the difference.
It's not like anyone's been asking him to play.
No, but he was the difference.
But
I mean, we started Jagielka came back in, a few eyebrows were raised, but they weren't raised by me, because I don't think you want Funes Mori to come in and cement and take his chance. He's 25, 26. He wants to play. He's enthusiastic. I think he buys into that. He wants to be with the crowd and everything else. But has he convinced anyone? Not at Watford, he didn't convince me. United, I thought he'd done all right against United. At Watford, he didn't really convince me. So it wasn't a surprise to see Jagielka come back in, I don't think.
But what I want is, and maybe we just haven't got the personnel for it yet, is a centre-back partnership.
Yeah.
That you can...
Mason Holgate, maybe? But
maybe.
Is he just...
But you want a partnership that you can rely on, and they build together. Like, question marks over Ashley Williams in the last few games, certainly in this game. But Ashley Williams has had a disadvantage where he's just come to the at the club this season. He's trying to build relationships. As a footballer, he's a good defender, but he's not necessarily a great footballer. He's not fast either, really. There's one where Alexis went past him, and oh my God, it was trying to watch him. But he's a good defender. Now, you put the right partner next to him, you're gonna have a great partnership. Yeah. And sort of him and Jag started the season looking a little bit like that, but then Jag's tailed off. And you're right, someone like Holgate next to him, or whoever he wants to bring in, you build that partnership up. I think you're going to get the best of both of them. It's not ideal chopping and changing, but if he doesn't feel that Murray's the strongest, then you can't really argue, because you don't look at Murray and go, he was brilliant in that game, he cemented his place. And that's what he has to do if he wants to keep his place, because there'll be that question mark about him all the time, because he doesn't do enough to cement it. And Jags is the same. You look at Jag, but with Jags, what you've got is you've got the experience and the know-how to save him in some situations. Yeah. And you don't look at... I don't look at Funes Mori, and I know people think, oh, you get on his back all the time, but I don't look at Funes Mori and think, you've got this one thing that you're really good at. Like, if Funes Mori was amazing in the air, you go, we need that. But he's not even that good in the air.
He's better in the opposing box.
Because it's not that he's not good in the air. He's got something that, well, he hasn't got something. He doesn't time his jumps. His timing's not great. So that's not been cemented. So I wasn't shocked by that. But I was a bit shocked McCarthy stayed in the team. But then again, he would have replaced him, because Barry obviously went out. Ross came in. It was good. Valencia came in as well. So
it was a part. I mean, the thing for me was it was positive, wasn't it? We've bemoaned the fact over the last few weeks that he's just done the same kind of thing week in, week out, and it hasn't been working. He put Dominic Calvert-Lewin on the bench. That was a positive.
Very
he didn't
positive.
just put him on the bench, he brought him on. So he wasn't just there to tick a box and go, look, I have put a kid on the bench. McCarthy stayed in, and we've seen why as the game went on. Ross come back in, which was the right decision, because the last couple of games without Ross in the midfield, we've had no one to take the ball up the pitch for us. It's great them competing, but no one's really put the foot on the ball. The Valencia thing we've said it for weeks, it was a no-brainer, and Rom has looked happier over the last few weeks having someone when he's got on the pitch. So, and he'd done enough again at the weekend for me to start the game, and he come in and he just showed us that he can be dangerous. He might not be the answer next season, he might not be the answer for the second half of the season if Koeman gets who he wants, but for right now,
but you know what he is? He's a template. He is showing you
what to do.
It's what to do and what kind of player we need to bring in. Because I said it all summer, you said it. For me, Shane Long was a no-brainer, and people were like, he's not good enough. And you're like, it's not. It's not.
He won't be good enough when we get there, but for us to get here, he'll be good
Someone
enough.
like a Shane Long kind of player is what we needed, and we never brought one in. And but maybe we have brought one in Valencia. And I think what was good about Wednesday, once we got after that 20-minute spell, and after they'd scored that ludicrous goal, was we've said it for weeks. It's the makeup of the team. It's the formation. No, all right, well maybe the formation. It's the makeup of the players though that don't fit in that formation.
Square holes.
We've said for weeks we have wingers who play in a 3, but they're not the wingers. They're not one or the other. They're not one or the other. What we had on Tuesday, it felt like, was 2 players wide who were prepared to work hard. So actually, the central 3 got a little bit more time to, and it wasn't just about those central 3 doing all the hard work. It was about the whole 5 doing the hard work.
The thing was that when we play Gerard Deulofeu and we play Blassie when he was fit, they try to get closer to Rom, but Morales doesn't, and neither does Deulofeu. And Lennon a lot of the times hasn't. He did the other night. But in general, they stay wide. So when you look at it, Rom's on his own. And the first 20 minutes, it was similar. He was isolated, and you're going, like, he needs to get closer. But what Valencia done was when he got the ball, he didn't try to go to the touchline. He tried to come in and link up with Rom, and that caused them a bit of an issue. I mean, they started quite brightly, the nice passing move, you know, and Ozil should have done a little bit better with the cutback. He'd be getting through. But what impressed me was their front 3 worked so hard. Sanchez, Walcott and Oxlade-Chamberlain on the other side were putting us under pressure. But we had that chance after Ozil's miss where Valencia wins it, gets up and slides it through to Romani. I probably should have shot. He's trying to square it. But that gave us a little bit of encouragement. And then we go and shoot ourselves in the foot with the goal. I mean, the ball, I haven't seen the build-up again, but from what I can remember at the time of the goal, I thought Stekelenburg should have come out, because it was a ball to be, it was on the corner of the box running out. It wasn't like the Ibrahimovic thing, and he hesitated. But then we get the ball back, and 3 or 4 of them have a chance.
Ashley Williams heads it, and then I think it's Garner tries to run it out the box, then he gets caught, then Ross has the ball, and he gets caught. And then
Williams dives into Garner, nearly kills Garner.
So he lets him through, and then Jags takes him out. So it was just a big mess, which should have just been really. I think it was Garner should have just put it in.
Should have just launched it,
led it, but he didn't. It's a cock up.
At this stage, I have to apologise for my ratings video.
It's everything. Apologise for everything.
And me instant reaction, because when I done them, obviously I wasn't very well Tuesday, and I just came in from the game and done it without seeing it again. But where I was sat, it just looked like Stekelenburg flapped it. It went straight at him.
Did you not know it did Williams?
I couldn't see it. From where I am in over Bullens, mate, you can't see it. You just see a shot, and I see that look, and it goes up, and I'm thinking, oh my God, that's outrageous.
Williams tried to kick it with one leg.
I've seen it since. But
his brain wasn't talking to his left leg. And his left leg kicks it, and then his right foot kicks. Oh, it was just.
I'd love, because a few people have gone, you're being a bit harsh there, and I'm thinking, like, let me look at it again. So there you go, Steck. All the people who were a bit upset that I was a bit harsh.
It was abysmal.
I apologise. From where I was sat, it looked like it was an abysmal bit of goal.
Going back to what you were saying about Valencia, what I liked was that him and Ron were interchanging, and Ron was going wide, and it reminded me of when we beat them 3-0, and when Naismith, and I'm saying that during the game, I want to see Valencia be the number 9 or the false number 9 or whatever, and I want to see Ron start going wide, because that form
mix it up.
Because how many times do we say Ron goes wide? And we're like, Ron, we need you in the box, because the person who's playing in that position never jogs in.
Deulofeu's not going to run in.
Exactly, but that's what Valencia did. Valencia started jogging in and becoming that extra body. And what I loved about Valencia was he was going up for headers, not necessarily winning it, but the centre back was never getting a clean. The amount of times the centre back just head and it dropped, and we had possession. And it was brilliant. And
but he also set the tone, because he started running things down that were lost causes. You know, that where the ball's going out and he just sprinting after it, and they were having to slice it clear up. But I mean, obviously the turning point for me anyway in the game was the tackle Barkley had it and he lost it and he went and the crowd screamed and he went and put a tackle in, then McCarthy come in and got 3 of them, and the next minute the ground just erupted as if like, you know, be all of a sudden everyone identified with what they were trying to do again, and that bond, and you could see them looking at the crowd as if to say, that's what you want us to do, and then all of a sudden Lukaku started sprinting round 3 men, scream, and I loved it about him because he's too many games he just lets go by. I've been critical of him at the weekend, this Watford game, he let it just pass him by. He scored 2, but he let the game pass him by, where the other night was night and day to his performance at the weekend, even though he didn't score, and people were like, he got 2 at the weekend and you're saying he had a better game. He did have a better game. Just because he scores doesn't mean he's had a good game. The other night, Tuesday, he started screaming at players to join in, Garner, Ross, and then when he started doing it, Goodison came alive.
And I seen him as well, I think it was on Arsenal corner, and he was back and he was talking to Baines, and he was saying to Baines where he wanted it, and he kept on saying, I want it, and Baines was sort of like, let me just defend this and we'll have a chat later. But Ron was like, no, I want it, and it was like, you can see he had the bit between his teeth, and I know there are 2 schools of thought, and we've had the discussion here. It's like, do you want Ron to do more running, or do you put someone up next to him? Well, I think what it proved was, you put someone next to him, Ron will do more running. Whether that's right or wrong, that's not necessarily but if he, because there was a moment where there was a time in the game where he did actually sprinted to the fullback and then sprinted back, and because he went on his own, it was a little bit like, actually there's no point in him doing that, because it could just be like that. But
that was when he turned down.
Exactly. That's what he was saying. No, because what he was also saying as well was, which we get done for all the time, was he was saying, get up the pitch. Don't leave me 20 yards away from you. If you're up the pitch and you're making it hard for them, then they are going to make a mistake, and then we can capitalise on it. Because if he forces that defender to kick it somewhere they don't want to, it doesn't matter if we've got no one there. So,
but that was what turned it, didn't it? All of a sudden, if you stand off Arsenal and let them pass it round you, they will destroy you. They're the best team in the Premier League at doing that, by far. Chelsea are probably the best side in the Premier League at the moment because they do all the other bits, the nasty with Costa, and they're well organised. Arsenal are the best football side in the Premier League, bar none. They keep it, they pass it, the movement's incredible. They arse about with it, probably a little bit too much still, if they were a bit more clinical. But if you get in the faces, match up, block them, pressure them, it doesn't take a genius to think, if I let you stand off you with the ball, you're going to be able to hit where you need to hit it. But if I get close to you and you have to make a decision that you don't want, a few times you're going to miss hit it, or you're not going to want it. And that's all we've done. And once we've done it, the crowd, this Goodison will back players. If they run around, Goodison will carry them players around, and that's what it done. Like the fans, after that first 20, because the first 20 minutes was silent, I could hear the players screaming. Once them 3 tackles went in, couldn't hear yourself.
That's what we expect, isn't it? That's what we expect as fans. Okay, there was an age when football's a little bit different and players weren't as fit, and players now, they're super fit, and they walk off the pitch some days like they haven't done anything, and they have done, and that's how super fit they are. Yeah, we had like Ashley Williams throwing up on the pitch because
they done a bit for the first time.
It was the furthest we've run this season at Goodison Park, and it's shown, and all those players would have walked off feeling 10 foot tall. They got their rewards for the hard work they put in, and for me that's just saying to them, go and do, I mean the next game's a derby, so there's no excuse again, but go and do it in the next game, and that's what.
And then if it didn't work in the derby, go and do it at Leicester, and go and do it at Hull, because you will get into it. There's a Liverpool near the top at the moment from doing that, and then the qualities take over. Everton, we've always said there is quality in this Everton side, but there's no point. There's a big bloody thing up in the gym. You know, hard work beats talent if the talent doesn't work hard, and it's proved it.
Well, I had this last week because on Borsies I said they were all crap before the game, and our friend John took me to task and said, they're not all crap, and I said, and my argument is, like that thing says, if you can be as talented as you want as a footballer, but if you're not putting the hard work in, then you're crap, because you can't do it without hard work. You need to apply yourself. The best footballers ever. Look at someone like the Ronaldo's just been given Player of the Year. Look him physically to what he was when he was a kid. He worked and he's not the best footballer in the world. Messi's the best footballer in the world as a footballer, skill wise.
Yeah.
But Ronaldo is up there with him all the time, records wise, because he's took the talent he had, which don't get me wrong, is an amazing talent, but he's grafted onto it more because of his physicality and how hard he works. And people,
he works harder than Messi.
But
doesn't he? Messi
still works very hard. And Messi still works very hard.
Oh, he does.
But look at someone like Suarez.
Yeah.
Look at the level Suarez was at when he came to Liverpool, right? And that season when we were all laughing at him and saying Yelovich was better, and then suddenly it was like a light bulb went on, and it's not that he worked a little bit harder. He just actually probably. He just started the skill and the work went hand in hand. But look how hard he works as a centre forward. Look at the opportunities he creates and then finishes them with that amazing talent he's got. And that's something you'd say to Rom is, and you can apply it to Ross Barkley as well. You go back to
what was he, by the way?
But go back to the West Ham goal. The West Ham goal Ross Barkley scored. He created that through working hard and then finished it off with his talent. And I think that's what people have got to remember. You win your battles in football as a footballer. When you go out, you're told win your battle today, and if all 11 or 9 or 8 win their battle, you'll win the game. But you create opportunities with perspiration and then you finish them off with inspiration. That'll put that on a wall. That's amazing. Just made that up. You're right though.
Perspiration was like inspiration. Not sure that fits it, but
we'll have it. I like to put that on. We'll put that up here. That's what you use in football. That's how football works, and that's what we had. I thought Tuesday night. I thought that's what we had on Tuesday night. We had players just working hard, and in the end, they got their just rewards.
I mean, we saw James Coleman, who we've given stick, fantastic game the other night. Really did have a fantastic game. Defended brilliantly, attacked brilliantly, was disciplined. Baines. Quality anyway, but you'd had James McCarthy. Now I'd written James McCarthy off because for 18 months he's been a nothing for us, absolute nothing. And this season when he's got in, he's been not. And I think it's probably because he knows the man doesn't really fancy him. But
can you put your finger on why he played so well
after 20 minutes? Because the first 20 minutes he was anonymous again.
But can you put your finger on why though?
Because I think he just went back to what he did do the first Garnett was. When you're talking about players thrown up and them on their hands and knees in the 90th minute, when the whistle went, he was still jogging around. By the way,
he jogged home.
Yeah. He intercepted my video, but didn't upload the little. But McCarthy he stopped thinking that he's this world class footballer and just started getting into people and going, let's have a physical battle, and me and you, let's have a little bit of a go then, and we'll see who comes up. Because he hit Ozil, he hit Granit Xhaka. I mean, Granit Xhaka had done him from behind. It was a yellow card, and that beaut. With the whistle in his mouth, who thinks he's one of the players, taps them and he has to all this shit, just let it go. So McCarthy done what happened on the Sunday, ran after him and just wellied him and got booked for it. And then you're thinking, don't be a dickhead now, because you're the best bit of your game, what you've been doing, winning tackles and snapping them, you're not going to be able to do. But I thought he played even better.
It was funny early on though, because he was almost playing where Barkley should have been playing. Barkley was almost playing with Ethan. It was weird, and because they look very similar.
They were trying to join.
But it was weird because. But do you think? And see, this is a funny one, isn't it? It's like, do you think because we didn't have Barry, we played better? Because, and I know we haven't played better without Barry. So but do you think the fact that there was 3 lads in there who, their natural game is to get in people's faces and break things up and give it. But Ross is no slouch and he's a big lad as well. But do you think the fact that there was 3 of them in there with loads of energy, it worked a little?
This is what we said months ago. It should work. Garner and McCarthy should be good enough to eat up most midfield.
But do you think though?
But I think Ross played. Ross played where I wanted him to play for a while, further back, not taking up that position. I know he joined in at times and he was up there, but in general he was having to go back and help out, and he didn't shy away from that. His touch was incredible, his passing range was fantastic. It got better and better and better because the crowd behind him, and he could feel, you could see with Ross, it's a confidence thing. He was better further back because they just worked, the 3 of them worked as a partnership. They closed down, and Everton in the 80s when we won the league and that's what we used to do. We were the original gegenpress and all that, we'd run after 3 of them and go after the ball, and they'd panic the opposition into giving you the ball back, and that's what Everton done well. And having the extra legs the other night, because Gareth Barry, he's great on the ball. He's like the Al quarterback, as they call him, and all that. He's great on the ball in his passing range, but he can't get around the pitch like that, and they'd have better him alive.
See, that's what I mean. This is something I said about Gareth Barry last season. This was it wasn't when I wasn't being critical of him. I just didn't think he could play that position anymore. This season he started pretty well, and he's he's
knackered.
Yeah, but I just thought because we're three of them in there and they were all doing the job, and then the two wide men we looked like we had loads more energy in the side. It was it was all of them, and it was like if it had to be all of them. You can't get away. You can't have passengers in that, especially against good sides. You have to have all of them doing that job, and if they're not doing it, the odd one will get caught out. But I just thought we had all of them, and that midfield. And James McCarthy, he was brilliant. He had a brilliant game. And there was
that one where he wins the 50-50. It's going away from me, dives in, wins it, gets up, releases Rom, and Rom has a little, and he has a step over and shoots over the bar.
But even late on, he's the one who bears past Rom and wins the free kick. The free kick leads to the corner, and then from the second corner we get the winning goal. He's in, and you just think onto yourself. I know there's like I know it was only like a video ago we were saying get rid of him, but if that's what if that's him, and that's him showing the manager, then that's sound. But
why are we saying get rid of him? A, because he's not done it. B, because the stories are there and he wants out. When he's come on, he's looked totally disinterested. He played against, was it Swansea? Our own. He looked totally disinterested. Looked like he didn't want to be there. That's a game he should have ran. Him and Garner should have ran that game. Do you think,
because after the Watford game, I think, again, we were critical of the manager as well. But he did say a few things about this team's not up for it physically, and and we don't seem to have enough. Do you think behind the scenes, maybe he's, I don't know, but it just said to him, play your game. I want to see you having a go, even if it's for a move away. I want to see you start playing, because that was the first time I've seen him play like that since around the injury around Wolfsburg. You know what I mean? Around that time, that was the first time I've really seen him put a shift in like that.
It was like his best performance after the because in the first season most weeks.
Well, he was like that every week, wasn't he?
But I think Wolfsburg at home sticks in my mind when we won 4-1. He was incredible that night, and that block in injury time when we were winning 4, it didn't matter. He still ran 50 and threw a block in, and things like that. That time you were going, this fella is unreal. He's like Garner now.
Yeah.
And you're right. Since then, that's probably the first time. The other night I've looked and thought, but
that's on him, isn't
he? There is a player.
That's on him, isn't he?
Whatever's gone on. I thought we knew the run ones. We knew that he fell out with Martinez. We knew that he over the physio stuff. But then he went and signed a new contract when I was expecting him to leave, and I thought, and he come out, I want to stay at this club and I want to do this. And he kind of signed it like Morales did, and then he done nothing. Just kind of went, thanks for that.
Even on Tuesday night, I think the goal when Williams scores, you see him celebrating, you see what it means to him. And you think, and that's when you sort of like, it's mad, that's when you sort of fall back in love with players, isn't it? When you see...
But what have I said to you all season? The problem with Everton is we've got too many players who are a 2 or a 9, and we haven't got enough who are a 6 or a 7 every week.
But what was good about the three of them though was, like we just said, James McCarthy and Garner didn't play as holding midfielders.
No.
They played as midfielders. And Ross played just as a midfielder. Yeah. So they were everywhere. Yeah. So they were doing each other's job.
They should be doing.
Exactly. So the three of them were doing everything, and there was energy, and it was like, and it wasn't just like the two of them sat there and have Ross in front. All three of them were all over the pitch. So they were midfielders, and suddenly then you see the value of having midfielders, not defensive midfielders and attacking midfielders, because
everything was very cohesive. And it hasn't been this season. The shackles almost came off at 1-0 down. It was like, well, alright, well, what have we got to lose then? We're 1-0, the crowd want us to run, let's run. And you're right, there was no kind of people worried about going into other people's zones. It was just, there's a ball and I'm going to win it, get after it. Garner mops up everything anyway. You can run anywhere, he'll just come and mop it up for you, there's no issue. And because Ross rolled the sleeves up and went, I'm in for this as well. We had 3 lads in the 20s running around midfield, and it makes a big difference. Gareth Barry's been brilliant.
Big physical.
Look at Steven Gerrard for Liverpool. He was there beacon for years and years and years and years. We got to 32, we haven't played the amount of games Gareth Barry's played. But he knew that his time was coming. We as opposition fans were going, his legs are gone. It's not the same anymore because his lexicon. You see it with other players in the Premier League. Frank Lampard was still great at getting goals, but his influence became less and less and less and less. And because time catches up.
And also, opposition will see that and go, listen, because the way back, I mean, it was clear against Chelsea. If you can nick it off Barry, you're almost round the back then in a way, aren't you?
You're in, yeah.
So I thought that was a bit. And again, you say 3, it was more like the 5 at times. But that was the difference as well. I mean, the goal first, the goal brilliantly timed, perfect.
Great cross.
Baines right
what
foot.
What a ball by
right
Garner first.
Yeah. It was fantastic. And it was like had this mad loop on it.
Just there, great. And then Baines done really well. We had a good dummy done. He comes back in and then. Right foot
and centre forward header from it was though, wasn't it?
But that was the other thing. What have we been critical of Seamus for? Running like he's busting a gut, gets to the corner of the box and stops, and then it's like, well, hang on, you're not doing one or the other. You're not back, and you're not really helping us. And that the other night, straight in the box, and what a brilliant header to get us level. And you see what it means to him. And he might have been doing that to us.
I've said this. If he was doing that to us, wind it, mate, because.
I don't mind if he's doing it to us because it means he watches. That's all. That.
We picked the wrong end if he was doing it to us.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, that's what it means.
But it was great because our time sort of come at the wrong time, didn't it?
Dunk the peacemaker.
But it was brilliant though because what was I saying a couple of weeks for the Chelsea game, Man City game, saying I want to see a bit of that, and we got a little bit of that, and Dunk's giving the piece. It was funny yesterday on Twitter. The guy who wrote the book about Dunk was like, what the hell's this? And he was like, and I was like, I don't want to see Dunk do that though. I want to see Dunk like saying to these players, you know.
He might have been saying that when he got back inside. You don't want it. We were that much in the game. We didn't want to lose anything because Ozil was trying. He knew what he was doing. He was trying to get McCarthy involved because
Ozil was hilarious. But a bit later on, he was hilarious. But because so our time seems to come at the wrong time for us, really. But to be fair, second half we did sort of just come back out and they got on the ball. And we started to tire, and Valencia started to tire a little bit. But I think even though we started to tire, we dropped as a unit rather than just sort of in. And we always had the outball of Valencia and Rom. Yeah. So it wasn't
we almost went 4-4-2.
Yeah. So it wasn't like we were stuck. We had that outball and we were quite clever in the way we defended. We defended quite, as a unit, as I say, which makes a difference. And that one chance they got. Where Ozil put it over, and Seamus being silly on the right hand side, loses the ball, and he should have done better. But apart from that very very end, they didn't really make much of it. No. And
they had times when it looked like they'd get it, didn't he? Stekelenburg come out well.
Yeah.
When Baines started to do him, he started to put him up the derby.
They brought Giroud on and started going long, and
but it didn't really. I mean, I think the thing for me was, for all of our defending, we hadn't in the first half until the last 15 minutes. We hadn't really carried the threat, and then we started to carry the threat in the second half. We carried much more of the threat. We had that one where Ross, the ball comes in and Ron knocks it down. Ross takes a touch and lashes it. He don't check. It just skids wide. When we had. Like you said, Valencia started jumping early, and then Koscielny wasn't getting a clean header on. We'd pick it up, and then the move you're talking about. I mean, let's talk about the Jags got booked in the first half for the goal, rightly so. He took things out. It was a booking. We have Baines bobbing and weaving through. Koscielny just takes him out straight, exactly the same as Jags, but a booking, and the referee doesn't give any. And you scratching your head going, how? Because it's almost a mirror to what happened with Jagielka. And then, of course, 10 minutes later, Koscielny then takes McCarthy out when he's running through. He would have been off the pitch. And then they couldn't wait to send Jags off. I mean, it was another book and Jags had to go. But you just think, where's that consistency? The same McGibbon and Xhaka, the challenge on McCarthy, no booking. McCarthy got him back, it was a booking, but you just think... But, Valencia, when he looked like he was out on his feet, then goes and sprints 50 yards from one side of the pitch to the other and gets a corner out of nothing. And it was that kind of thing that made you go... And we haven't even spoke about Rom in beast mode on the halfway. How many lines Bellerin up who's lightning knocks it past
we were talking about, like we were saying in the first half, get up against Monreal like he did. But then when he went on the other side and done Bellerin and he just left him
for dead. Yeah. And it's that kind of thing when I look at Romelu Lukaku and when I criticise him, because that's what's in his locker. That's one of the quickest plays in the Premier League. He knocked it past him, left him for dead. He's strong. He got... it deflects into the side net, but he'd done absolutely brilliantly. All the times he was dropping off, he was knocking, he was fighting, he was winning headers. a proper centre forwards display every week, Ron, please, every week. But suppose if you give him Valencia, he probably will do that.
Or someone like him who'll do that job, who understands how to do that job.
I mean, I thought, the manager, we've criticised some of his decisions of late because, we felt as though he'd kind of gone back a little bit. But the other night, brave, took Lennon off, put Morales on. Kev didn't nearly do anything, but at least it was a positive sub. And then bringing, obviously, Calvert-Lewin on when he could have, Holgate was warm, Cleverley was warm, and I thought he might just put Cleverley on here and go, listen, we'll just go with what we've got. We'll say to Morales, try and join it. And he didn't. He put a lad making his Premier League debut at 1-1 against the best side in the Premier League, or one of the best sides.
Well, the team had the chance to go top of the league,
exactly. So they, a team playing brilliantly up until Tuesday.
I think it's funny, Koeman, because I think what Koeman's quite good at is, quite good. I think what he does is, I think he reads the way the game is going, or thinks the body language of his own players, and I think he probably thinks he'll make a sub going, well, these don't look like we're up for it, so I'll put a defensive sub on. But if he thinks these look like they're up for it,
the crowd carried it forward
as well, and it's like, I'll help these. I'll put some in it, and we kept. And what's great as well
is though, because he's played to such a high level, he reads the game as a player still, not as a manager who's removed from it.
But I think what was good as well is though, last 10 minutes. We've still got a load. We've got the fitness. You're starting to see the fitness a little bit more now. The amount of times we score goals now, we're starting to see that fitness a little bit more. And the fitness was still there. Okay, it was in some individual players where someone like Valencia hasn't played that much, but he put a hell of a shift in for someone who hasn't played that much. James McCarthy hasn't played that much, Ross Barker hasn't played that much of late, or certainly not used to playing in those high intensity games, which they should be, but they still looked like they had plenty in the tank. And I say towards the end, it only looked like there was going to be one winner, and that was us, because we were still driving forward on the break. As I say, James McCarthy did very, very well for that. We get the corner, maybe we were a little bit lucky. But
someone say it wasn't a corner. I've seen someone say.
Well, it did sort of hit Calvert-Lewin on the arm and go out.
Did it?
Yeah, so it probably was a goal kick, but it wasn't an easy one to give. The corners have been shocking all night, by the way, but we're lucky we had one in. Jags forced a good save, and then that one absolutely brilliant. And Ashley Williams.
Well, it was the Jags forces the save, but Calvert-Lewin rises and takes two defenders with Ed's the one off the shoulder.
Yeah,
and you're thinking.
But
then went for the goal. Two men jumped with him then because his leap's so good.
And just watch the goal again and watch Ozil. It's so.
What does he do? Yeah,
he's marking him.
He just leaves.
He's marking him. Why is he marking him? For a start,
jump, is he?
He does it, and what he does is he goes, and then starts walking away, as in to say, I'm not marking him, and then goes like that when it goes in. It's brilliant. It's like. Hang on, but no, brilliant to see Williams get that goal.
Great ball in, wasn't it?
Great ball he deserved, and I suppose that's why they're always telling you that, like one flat court just for that. Brilliant header, nothing Czech could do, and then we just got into the madness then, didn't we? Absolute madness.
It just became it was ding dong, wasn't it? It really was ding dong.
Well, we tried to shut up shop. We got a corner and we played it short. Maybe a bit early for that, but we did, and then that last minute, them getting. I mean, Jags obviously gets sent off, which at least he got booked for something. Do you know what I mean?
He could have, he couldn't have left the lad alone because he was away.
The lad was away and could have had space to do whatever he wanted. They get the free kick and then we didn't get it away.
Just before that ball that I think Sanchez played it in and Giroud jumped and Stekelenburg come. Oh,
but there was the other one as well.
Horrible.
Ross breaking on the right, and it's funny because if he'd miss-hit it, Morales would have had a tap in, but he tries to shoot, and if he'd just cut it across, Morales was getting a tap in.
I think he'd already made his mind up.
I know, but I'm saying, but if he'd miss it, that's what I'm saying, if he'd miss it would have just...
Morales.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
And then that minute, I mean, obviously, they got the Calvert-Lewin gets a chance to clear, and he shanks it, and then it keeps the ball alive, ball goes back in, and Stekelenburg had already come for one, got that one, but didn't get this one bit. They get the shot off, Funes blocks it, and you, because I'm in the guard seat, you're just expecting to hear that. You're expecting to hear that second of silence, and then all the Arsenal fans, and then Baines is just there, and then Morales. No one knows. Then Morales, and from where I'm sitting, it's a penalty. But if you watch it from the other side, Morales sort of kicks the ball
and then
onto him and then follows through. But the ref was on the other side, so he could have easily given a penalty in the melee, in the mix-up. But and then we're away.
Mind you, wasn't the last time he was a Goodison, he gave an injury time penalty.
So we're away. Ron wins the ball back. So I'm thinking, Ron, just have a shot, because if he just like killed it, if it had gone wide, then it probably would have just killed the seconds anyway. But if you look at it, probably if you take a photo of it, it looks perfect, because all he has to do is actually bend the ball around the defender, and Ross is running onto it, and Ross has got an open goal, but he doesn't. He keeps it for those couple of seconds. Then it's a bad ball to Ross because it's sort of behind him, and then Ross tries to put in Morales, but then it's sort of behind Morales, and you're just thinking, one of yous, just shoot, just have a shot.
Ross could have, when it runs through, he could have just led it the first time, and if it goes in the street end, it goes in the street end. But he passes it to Morales, but Morales waits. Instead of moving toward the ball, he waits for it on a plate.
And then what makes it worse is they keep it in and then go down the other end. And you're thinking, oh my God, this is pure Everton, this. And then luckily enough, it's a bad ball and he kicks it out and the final whistle goes. And but
that would have been Everton in a nutshell.
Oh, for them to not score, then for us to not score, and then for them to score, would have just been pure Everton. Pure Everton. Full on Ev.
Bad
Evs.
But
oh my God.
But it was brilliant. You know, they deserved it for the fact that they battled and worked the socks off, and it was, you know, against the odds, wasn't it?
But that, to me, now
it's the bar.
It's the standard. It's how he wants us to play, and I almost feel like he's been sitting back and just been waiting for this performance to happen. Like, you know, and it hasn't happened, and it just hasn't happened, and it's almost like as the season's gone on, the energy's dropped and dropped and dropped, and that's not a physical energy. That's not like they're unfit. They showed Tuesday night they're a very fit team, but you need a bit of energy, and that's what
it's personnel.
That's it, and that's what we've been calling for in the last few weeks. That's what we've been saying, whether it be a 4-4-2 or having Valencia in the team and having another. It's having either players that fit into a shape or a shape that fits the players. And the other night you had a bit of both. You know, we went a 4-4-2 at times. We played, you know, 3 flat in the middle at times. It was a fluid system that kept on changing to whatever it needed to be. But because the players in there were prepared to work the bollocks off for 68 minutes, it worked. And you think those players must have walked off, and the manager must have just said to them, that's it. That's all I want you to do, and you've got your rewards, and you deserve your rewards. And you're thinking, that's all we want.
The refs fault Arsenal lost, though, wasn't it?
Well, that's what Wenger said, but who gives a flying
for the third time?
You know what I mean? Who gives a flying?
But it's not difficult, is it? You run around, you work hard, and your talent will come through, you get an opportunity, and that's what happens. And if Everton do that most weeks, they'll beat most sides. They might beat every side, because there'll be teams who are better than us and teams who work as hard as us. We're coming to one on Monday. But why can't we beat them?
But I look at 2 teams in the Premier League. I look at Liverpool, who I think talent-wise, good players, not world-class players, a good collection of players. And I look at Tottenham, good players, not world-class players, good players. And then both of their managers have elevated them to Premier League contenders, because both of them are, because of how hard they work. And what he's done as well is players that you looked at beforehand and went, not sure about him. Tottenham, Eric Lamela. Eriksen, great player, but maybe not.
He work hard,
was he prepared to work hard? The fullbacks,
some.
He's took those players and they've become better. Liverpool, look at Lallana now. Okay, we knew what he had in his locker before he signed for Liverpool, but look at him now. Look how many goals he's scoring, club and country. He loves it. Loves sharing a room with Henderson. Loves going to strippers.
Everton.
Loves scoring goals. Look how much Klopp. There's other players at Liverpool that, again, Mane, because he was at Southampton, but he's gone on again this season, and it's Origi's the same. Exactly, and that's what we're saying. Good players can become
If you look at Spurs and Liverpool, and then you look at Man City, you know, City have got
better players.
They've got much better players, but City don't work as hard as what Liverpool or Tottenham do. You know, if they did, City would be top of the league. And that, you know, Chelsea have got a mixture, and their Conte, you'd have to work for him because you just, you know, you wouldn't want to come off not working for him, and that's why they're flying. So it's not hard to achieve. Leicester done it last year. Leicester done it last year and won the league.
They're the model, and they've dropped this season. It's clear they've dropped this season.
Yet they're still qualified, won the Champions League.
Yeah, but they did have a Europa League group though.
But I
think that's the difference, Premier League and that. But that's the difference. Goes back to something I was saying before. They are good players on paper, but if you don't have the work rate, then it doesn't matter. Ross Barkley's been linked with Tottenham today. Their manager probably thinks, I could take him up 10% if it's real. I mean, if it's real. But you know what I mean? No. But if it was real, but if it is real,
Klopp could.
Yeah,
couldn't he?
But hopefully our manager, maybe now I know it's only one game. We don't want to get carried away. But if the penny drops or has dropped with some of these players after that game, Garner, look at Garner. All right, no one had heard of him last season. Okay, he was doing the same job apparently for Villa, but he comes in and
we beat them 7-1 over 2 games, and I never noticed.
Yeah, he comes in and he embarrasses every other player. Yeah. We had Michael Borley last week who said, get some youngsters in, they'll embarrass every other player. Valencia done that on Saturday for Tuesday. For 10 minutes or so, he embarrassed a lot of the other players by his work rate, or said to them, this is what the level is. And that's what it's got to keep, because suddenly what's mad is now, after the Watford game we were looking at going, and now you think of it and you just think, they can put that performance in. Alright, the derby takes care of itself in a way, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? You expect the fans to be on it, you expect the players to be on it. But after that you go to Leicester with that, you go to Hull with that. Then actually, we're going to give ourselves a really good chance to beat them. And
Leicester will be tough because they're still decent.
They're still good at all. But whereas before we were looking at thinking, we'll match them if we play like that. I mean, it's a big if, Baz, because out of 16 games we've played one like that.
I think Spurs, in all fairness, the hour against Tottenham wasn't quite at that level, but it was up there, because we all sat there on day one thinking, this is it.
Yeah, it was fresh.
This is,
fresh in the memory, before, wasn't it? What the manager wanted.
But then it's 15 other games.
But it's up to the manager to keep that going. And what's interesting, and I don't know if you put any stake in this, but since the match, there's been a lot of talk of new players coming in, hasn't there? Schneiderlin, possibly Depay on loan, the kid from Russia, the young lad from Chan, and you're thinking, now they've been deliberately given to the media as almost as a message to those players, saying that one game's not good enough, lads. It's got to be.
Well, I think that all of those are going on behind the scenes, because he's got to bring them in. But it's, you know, I wouldn't. Tuesday was absolutely brilliant, and we were brilliant. And if you forget what those feelings are like, because it's been a long time, like you said before, since we won a big game like that. You know, especially going behind and coming back and winning late on. Yeah. It makes it fantastic in a game you don't really expect to win because you're not playing well. But like you've just said, it, you know, they've got to do that week in, week out. Just because they've performed once, it makes it all the more frustrating, really, because you look and go, is it just a case of he got the personnel right the other night and he hasn't before, or are those players actually gone, right, whatever's gone on, because we know they had a meeting and we know that a lot of home truths were apparently said, but by all of them and the manager as well. But you should have been saying home truths in September and October, and you know, because your players should want to thrive on. We still need half a dozen.
Yeah,
because nothing's changed. Because it kicks it on. Because then when James McCarthy does drop, or Ross Barkley does drop, or Romelu Lukaku drops, they go and sit on the bench, and you bring in A, B, and C. You've brought in. We haven't got that at the moment. Yeah. But
I'll tell you what was.
The level.
I'll tell you what was nice though as well about Tuesday night was the amount of plaudits, you know, Goodison got from, like, you know, Howard Webb was doing BT, and he said, oh, how did the crowd affect the decisions? And he said, well, they will do. These are the best. He said this is the best crowd in the Premier League at doing that. Most hostile. You know, I think Robbie Earle was on NBC in America, and he said the same thing. He said that's the best crowd.
Robbie Savage, who'd never give Everton anything.
So it's the best place because the fans are right on top of you, and when they're at it, we're at it, but we're not at it enough. And
you know, this new stadium, it's got to be modelled on that.
No, yeah.
The crowd have got to be on top.
But what's great as well is, and again, this is one of those things. Goodison looks great at the moment. Like obviously on my side, not it. But when you walk up to it from and you go down Goodison Road, it looks great. So
and they've got the other corner done.
When they've got all the rest done and all the, it'll look great and all the lights and everything. But that's a different.
You hear everybody talk about it though. You know, when Ashley Williams was saying, you know, the first real time I've experienced the atmosphere when I've been on the same side, and it's incredible. Another, you know, Koeman. I love that for the likes of Koeman, who's just coming, because he won't have experienced that as our manager. So I always think that bonds them a little bit closer with the fans to go, oh my God. You know, when he was on the pitch clapping the fans at the end, he's not done, he normally just gets off. Jan Klutenberg come out and said, wow, you know, and all that. And I always think it's good for Mashiri to go, this is what we've got. You know, if we get it right, this is what you've got. It's a wow statement from the club. Don't do it enough.
But that's the other thing, isn't it? I mean, but that's the other thing. I know there's a lot of onus on fans, but fans can only do so much with what they've got. What they've got. Yeah. And when you're sitting there and when you get performances like that, you like, give us more of that. We love it. We love sitting there. We love watching that kind of football. Give us more of that.
Why would you jump up and scream your head off when it's passive football, when it's slow and it's boring? You know, last year under Martinez, for whatever reason, the style of play, it was more than just him.
Give us more. That's all we want. We just want more of the same. It's not asking for much. You've done it once. Give us it more. Because I tell you what, right? All right, Monday might take care of itself. But when I don't even know.
Southampton's the next
one. But the crowd, they've got to be up for that, and we will be up for that, and let's do it again, because that's all we want as fans. Chris from the Redmen did a great video last week, or part of a video, saying about Anfield, and what he was saying was, you know, mid as at most grounds. What he was saying was, football's an expensive game. You go, it might be the only hour and a half you get all week of a bit of peace, or do something that you love because of your work and your family and all the other commitments. When you want to be there, you don't want to be sitting there miserable. That used to be the best part of your week, and suddenly it's become, well, for a while it was a chore. And I enjoy going at the beginning of this season. In the last few weeks, it's become it hasn't got to those levels, but it's just
not the same.
You were thinking, fucking some of you get your fucking finger on your asses and that do. And Tuesday was like that, and that's all we want. That is all we want as fans. We want to see the fact you do your bit, we'll do our bit, and do you know what? At the end of it, whatever happens, happens. Because if Arsenal had grabbed the last minute winner or last minute equaliser, I'd be sitting here frustrated, but I'd still say, and it was like first game of the season, I said the same thing. If Tottenham had grabbed the win the first game of the season, I would have come in here and I would have gone, you know what? They had the goal. And what more can you say?
It's funny you should say it, because we're about 15 minutes left and the game's still in the balance. I was thinking, my ratings are going to be quite high tonight, even if they score, because this is totally different than anything we've seen for it. It's marvellous we won and it was exciting. It's great to sit here and talk about a win. But it wouldn't have altered the fact that it would have slightly, because the fact that they threw the bodies on the line in injury time and still had the energy to should have won the game, to get up there then threw the bodies on the line again shows that the commitment was there. But everything else was positive. More. We want more. We're greedy.
We're not greedy. We're not fucking greedy at all. We
want another one.
Once you've done it once, you do it again. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, we're not sure when you go to work, Baz, every day your level of you're going to work after this. We've had to find an hour in our mad busy schedules to pull this out. You know what I mean? Baz is going to go back to work. He's going to get the levels like that. He's going to be kicking every ball and smack in town.
Can you say that? You could say that.
I think I've just said it. You can't say it.
I don't say it.
I can't say it. You would say rehabilitated individual. Right. Thank you for watching. Thanks for watching. Boss numbers on our other videos this week. I think people might have enjoyed the fact that we'd won, and I went a bit mad on mine.
Yeah, I believe you.
Yeah, it was good though. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed doing it. Thank you for all the biscuit comments. Some people want biscuit specials,
and we're gonna do it. Someone a ginger nut. Someone threw the ginger nut in there. I mean, I do like ginger nut, and they are good for
short ginger nut now.
It is short, isn't
Oh,
it?
it's stealth mode. It's Christmas, you know what I mean?
Ready.
My mum gave me the money to get me a haircut, so I had to go.
Amazing.
She did as well.
Christmas.
She went, let's go get you 38 I was last week, and that's love. That's love.
Okay, don't get emotional.
Don't get emotional.
Wrap the video.
Right, comments as always, as you always do. Loads of people obviously picking up the point that Baz thought Stekenberg was crap, and he wasn't. Little tip for you, Baz: when you go home, just watch for 5 minutes.
It's an instant match reaction.
I know.
I came in, I wanted up to bed, I was ill,
All right.
and I done it. But
Happy days. Let's do it again Monday. See you later on Toffee TV.